Hello everyone, I'm going to embark on another Daphne's Diary journal today. I had planned on doing a Daphne's Diary December daily and it just hasn't turned out that way. I had my last radiotherapy treatment last Wednesday, which went really well. I'm cancer free now, and thanks to all of you who've sent prayers and good vibes my way. It is so much appreciated. I can't thank you enough. But it's already the 7th of December now that I've decided I'm going to put this video together. And so I've decided I'm going to do a winter journal instead. And I'm not going to put myself under any pressure to do this on a daily basis, unless, of course, I feel up to it. But we'll see how much we can fill between now and the new year. Now, in the past, I've used the whole of the front cover to make the covers of my journals. So these are the last two that I've made. This particular edition just doesn't lend itself that way, because if I cut it in half, I'm chopping through the angel's head. So I've decided I'm going to use the front and the back. And I know that some of you will be throwing your arms up in absolute horror at the thought of me chopping up this magazine. But in all honesty, once you've read it, you know, for me, certainly once I've read the magazines, I tend to put them on a shelf and they sit there gathering dust. So I'd just rather use all of these beautiful images. So I'm going to take the front and back cover off and let's see what we can create. I'm also going to be using the contents of the advent calendar as well. And for anybody that wants to flip through of the Daphne's Diary issue number 8 and wants to see the advent calendar, I'll leave a link to the previous video in the description box below. Now, my previous journal measures, let's have a look. I think it's about just over 8¼ inches. I'm going to cut this down at 8½ inches to give myself some wiggle room, and width wise it's 5¾ so let's have a look. I think this is going to work quite well. So if I chop the edges off, let's see what we've got to play with. I've got the front and back cover of my journal ready to go. So that's the front and that's the back. I've also got two pieces of 300 GSM cardstock that I've cut to the same height as the journal cover, and this measures 1½ centimeters wide. I'm going to glue two pieces of this together just to give my spine a bit of strength. So I'll glue this together now. I'll glitter glue to glue this together. Doesn't have to be perfect because I'm going to cover it with fabric anyway. So let's just glue these together, and I'll just use some clips just to hold that in place for a second or two. So we'll just use a couple of these. So we're all set. I did end up popping this underneath a heavy book for 20 minutes or so, just because I found that the clips weren't holding the glue together particularly well. So I've got everything on hand. I'm also going to use this beautiful embroidery on glaze, and my plan is, so that will be the front and this will be the back. Of course, this will be my spine. And so that will go there, something like that. And I shall use embroidery on glaze just to hold everything together. I think this will look beautiful. Now, the way I'm going to do it is to glue the spine down to the embroidery on glaze first, just so that I get it perfectly centralized. Otherwise that will bother me. So again, bring in a piece of deli paper. I'm just going to add glue all over my spine, and then I'm just going to spread this out with my finger, just making sure that it goes all the way to the edges. I can add more where I see that I've missed bits. Here, for instance, need a bit more down here as well. So much better now that I've got a new glue as well. The other one was giving me a bit of trouble as it was getting to the end of its life. And then I'm just going to place this down and just eyeball it so that it's as central as possible. And again, I'm just going to weight that down with a heavy book. This is how I do it. I've got this really big book here, and I also use a household brick, and that's how I hold my pieces in place. It's been weighted down for a few minutes or so. I'm going to cut this as well, then bring in my covers So that's the front and that's the back. And I'm just going to glue these down as well. And I need to make sure that I leave a bit of a gap. Not too much, but maybe a couple of millimeters. And I'll stick these down as well. And I think the easiest way to do it, let's just fold that over so that I don't get any glue on my lace. I'm just going to add a bit of glue just onto the lace itself. Not too much. I'm going to be really careful here. You could use Fabri-Tac or 3-in-1 if you wanted to. I just find that this works equally as well. And I'm just going to spread this out. That should be enough. And again, I'll just use my finger just to spread that glue out onto the fabric, making sure that I've got plenty on the edges as well, because I don't want that to lift. Let's just add a bit here. Trying not to be too heavy-handed because I don't want the glue to seep through. So let's place this one down first. As I've said, leaving 2 or 3 millimeters, not too wide a gap, and just spread that, hold that down, and then I'll do the same on the other side. Spread my glue out, get rid of my pin, and stick this down as well. And again, I'm just going to put a piece of deli paper on here and just weight that down with a heavy book again. I want to add another piece on the center, so I'm just going to cut a piece with a bit extra. I can cut the excess off, and I'm just going to add glue over the back. Which side do I want to use? I think these are pretty much the same. It doesn't really matter, so I'll add glue all over this and then just glue it onto the center like so. And isn't that going to look absolutely beautiful? When I've had this weighted down underneath a heavy book, my fabric scissors seem to have gone AWOL, but these are quite good scissors. So let's just trim off the excess and just neaten everything up. That's lovely. Let's just move these out of the way, and then hopefully we can just fold in the creases, and there we have it. There's our outside cover. I think that looks lovely. I think the embroidery on glaze was perfect for this particular project. Now I do want to add some corner protectors, but I'm going to just add some ink around the edges before I do that, just to get rid of that white edge. I do also want to chomp my corners before I add the corner protectors. I think it will make them easier to attach. So let's do this. Inked around the edges, so let's add these corner protectors. And I know that somebody is bound to ask, these are 15mm. Here you go. You can see 15mm corner rounders. If I remember, I'll leave the link to where I got these from. I think they were an Amazon purchase. I'm just going to add a tiny bit of glue, not too much because I don't want it to spill out. So we'll add some glue inside here, and then I'm just going to use my jewellery pliers just to squeeze this down. And I'll do this on all 4 corners. And if any of the glue eases out, then I can just wipe it away. It's much better actually rounding the corners from what I've done in the past. So I'm really glad that I did that. I want to choose the signatures for my journal next. So I'm going to have a flick through the magazine. I'll use some of these little post-it notes here to mark the pages. And then I'll be back to show you why I've chosen the ones that I have. I do know for definite that I want to use this page here because it was the opposite page facing this that I've used for the inside front cover. Let me show you what I've decided to use. Of course, I've pulled this one here for the reasons I said earlier. I just think colour-wise it goes really well with the inside inside front and back cover, so I shall certainly use this as my first page. Then I thought that I might like to use this beautiful page here. I love this foliage. I think it's that's gorgeous. What's the next page? I chose this one here because I like the borders on the front and the back, and this will give me the option to, you know, put some nice imagery sort of inside there. So that one for sure. As you know, I also like using the text pages. It's a blank canvas as far as I'm concerned. And of course, all of the images that, you know, are neither here nor there on the back. I mean, obviously, I wouldn't want this in my journal. I can cover the areas over that I want to. I mean, I might leave the beautiful foliage here, for instance, but, you know, it just gives us options. I also love this page here. Again, it was the border and the text that's drawn me. So I'm going to use this one. I'm only choosing about 10 to 12 pages as well, because that will give me 40 sides, and you know, I don't want too many pages and for it to take too long for it to fill. I've got another text page that I may or may not use, not sure whether that might be overkill. Absolutely adore the colours in this. I think it would make the most beautiful background. What's next? Love this image here as well. You know, I could add to this, and I can also add imagery onto the back. Also, we've got the usual poster, look in my fingers, that we get, and just look how gorgeous this is. Another fox. I am just drawn to foxes, so I'm going to be careful how I cut this out. I'd probably want to preserve the top part of this here, and certainly the middle part with the fox in, so you know, that's an option. And I'm just going to take my time just to make sure that I cut the pages down exactly the way that I want. And then I also thought it would be nice to include one of these envelopes, which would give me a really nice tuck spot. Here comes Louis. Can you hear the cat flap going? And I've chosen this one because this is my least favourite background. And of course, with it being an envelope, you're not really going to see it. This is how the envelope folds, whereas I really like the colour on the outside. But I love these pages here, which I will be able to use as backgrounds to decorate some of my pages as we go along. So I'm going to tear out the pages that I've picked, and as soon as I've put my signature together, I'll be back to show you. I've got my signatures together, and I've opted for 2 in the end. I'm going to use the same binding method that I used for my previous magazine journal. I'll show you how I did that in a second, with the exception of this page here, which came out of the Daphne's Diary paper ephemera box, which I had several years ago with a magazine subscription. All the other pages have come out of the magazine itself. I do want to do something with this envelope though, because it's just not quite sturdy enough to go in my journal, I don't think. So I've decided I'm going to use some Micropore tape, which is pretty much see-through, but will add some much needed strength, especially along here where that's going to go into the fold, and I don't want it to tear. I did have another roll of it somewhere as well, but it's done a vanishing act. So hopefully let's hope that I've got some on this roll. I'm just going to add some to the sides and some to the middle as well. The way I'm going to do that, in fact, actually I'll have it on the outside, I think. Yes, I will. And I'm just going to add it here. Bring in a piece of deli paper so that it doesn't stick to my desk. And I'm just going to eyeball this. If I do it this way, you see, I can make sure that I've got it roughly half and half. It doesn't have to be perfect, but you can see that that's pretty translucent. So you'll barely be able to tell that it's there. And then of course I can fold this over and trim away the excess. I might do the same on the inside as well. And then, as I've said, I'm just going to do it down the sides. I've added the Micropore to my envelope, and look, you can barely see it. So I've got strips down both sides. This stuff is absolutely brilliant. It's surgical tape. I found the new roll, although I did have enough. This isn't actually Micropore brand. This is Blue Dot, a pack that I got. I got it in a box. I think there were about 6 rolls of this from Amazon. It's really cheap. It's about £1 per roll. You can buy a roll individually as well. You can also pick it up from the pharmacy, but it's just incredibly strong. And because it's so translucent, it's just absolutely brilliant for mending tears on things. I mean, it tears really easily, but it's just really strong to use and great in a medical emergency as well. So there you go. That's my tip for today. So which signature did this go in? I think it's going to go in the middle there like this, but you can see that it's really strengthened that fold. So hopefully my envelope won't tear now. So let's put my signature together. I'm going to use my twine and I'm going to do my usual binding method. So just a reminder for those of you that would like to do this and have maybe forgotten how I do it. I hold a long strand here like this, and because I've got 2 signatures, I'm just going to wrap this around twice like this, and then I'm just going to bring this down so that it's more or less the same length as the strand I've got on the other side. There we are. And then I'm just going to wrap this over like this and just wrap one of the strands underneath. It doesn't matter which one. And I'm just going to tie this in a knot. I'm not going to tie it too tight because, of course, my pages will get fatter as I start adding more to them. And I want to be able to easily move my pages around and take them in and out of the journal to be able to work on them. But there you go. You can see that I've now got my 2 strands to put my signatures in. So this one's going to go on the front because of course I've got this piece here. I also cut a piece off the bottom as well. So I've got my piece that matches on the other side. I'm just going to fit this one in first, and then I'll give you a flip through and I'll show you exactly what I chose to use for my pages. So this just slides in easily, just like this. That little one has gone AWOL on the other side. I can feel it. It's come loose. So we'll add that in separately. Let's just get those in. So that one is just going to go there like that. Let's just pop that in, and then this one of course can go in here. Plenty of wiggle room. That's just about the right kind of tension that I was after. So I'm just going to fiddle around with these. So there we go. Those are my two signatures. I do want to add something to my strands. Let me just see if I've got any more of those little daisy flowers that I used for the previous journal. Unfortunately, I haven't got any of the oatmeal coloured ones that I used for my previous journal, but I do have some of this peachy colour here and this pink. Either would go, but I think this colour matches a bit better. So I'm just going to cut this. I've got 5 here, haven't I? Hang on, let's cut this one off. And then I'm going to cut these into 2. And then I'm just going to use a little bit of my art glitter glue. Now let me just find which is the front and which is the back. I'm just going to apply a dab of glue. You could use Fabri-Tac or 3-in-1 for this. It really doesn't matter. And I'm just going to, in fact, actually what I'll do here, because this is starting to fray at the bottom, let me just put a dab of glue on here as well, just to hold the strands together. And then I'm just going to fold this over and just clip it in place. Let me just get one of these little clips here. Whoops, everything's going flying. So we'll just hold that in place there. And then I'm just going to add these ones here to the bottom of the other one as well. Just making sure that I'm applying the glue to the right, or the wrong side in this case, so that the right side is showing. Fold that over as well. Grab another clip. Oh dear. There we go. So that's that done. And as soon as that's dry, I'll give you a flip through of my pages. Let me show you my journal. The daisies are glued down now. I love using these because they're nice and flat and they don't interfere with me using the journal when I want to open it. Can barely feel them underneath. So let me show you the pages. So, of course, this one here is just crying out for some kind of simple embellishment. Some of them I want to cover up more than others. For instance, I could add a really nice focal image in the centre of this one here. So I've got a pocket here, of course, my little envelope. And then these are the same. I've got the pocket on the other side as well. This one here is more busy and I'd want to probably cover up the whole of this page. And then this is my second signature as well. Obviously you need to cover up the back of this here, maybe something just in the centre, and leave this lovely border. Same with this one here. Would want to cover up the whole of that page. And so by the end of it, I will have a really eclectic, beautiful journal to look at. I love this page here. That was from the poster. I decided not to use the fox. I've got another idea for the fox. But these are the pages that we are going to be playing with over the next few weeks or so. I've got 44 sides to fill in my journal. I'll be using the magazine itself and also some of the elements from the advent calendar. And let me just show you these. Of course, I said at the beginning of the video that I finished my radiotherapy treatment last Wednesday, and then we went away for a few days. We went down to Plymouth, and so I was out of action for 5 or 6 days. Didn't have a chance to open my advent calendar before I went, but let me just show you what I've got to play with. I've got these lovely cards. I think I showed you these in the unboxing, although I didn't want to spoil it and show you everything that was inside. So maybe we can use some of these. Aren't they pretty? So we've got these. That's what they look like on the back. So that was number 1. Where's number 2? Oh gosh, is that number 2? Here's number 2. And so this is a little booklet. Not sure I'd really use this in the journal. I'll probably just use that for using in my handbag. And for anybody that wants to see the advent calendar, I've got an unboxing on my YouTube channel. I'll leave the link to the video in the description box below. These are stickers, and I think these will come in really handy. Really pretty designs. Look at these. I think I might have them upside down, but there we go. I'm not sure. Oh gosh, but yes, these are all stickers. So that's those. So that was number 3. Number 4. Where's number 4 gone? Here we go. Oh, these are the paper clips. I showed these on the unboxing. I'm really excited about using these. I think these are just gorgeous. So we can clip some of these onto the diary. I think those will be perfect. Number 5 is the washi tape, and we've got 3 different designs. We've got this lovely one here, which is sort of like a gingerbread house design. Oops, I've dropped this one. This is reindeers, Santa's sleigh, and then the little Christmas trees. I think those are really pretty. So that's 5. Number 6 is a garland, I think. A star garland. I think you build this together, but you could also clip these onto your journal as well. These might be a bit thick, so I might add those as decorations to my Christmas tree. So that's number 6. And then number 7. What's in number 7? Oh, this is a post-it note pad. So again, we could use this as a collage element. So I'll be using all of the elements, or most of the elements from the advent calendar, as well as the diary itself. And over the next few weeks, maybe going into January as well, it depends on how active I am, we will fill this beautiful journal and just make it as lovely as the previous 2 that I have made. I hope that some of you will enjoy participating in this Daphne's Diary Christmas series. If you want to share your projects and the pages that you've made, feel free to join us in the Facebook group, the Mixed Media Emporium. I'll leave the link to the Facebook group in the description box below. Just be aware that we're a prompt related group, so do put in hashtag Daphne's Diary, or I think we're calling it Christmas Wildcard. So, just follow the instructions inside the group. But if you've enjoyed my video today, as always, I'd very much appreciate a thumbs up. Do let me know what you think in the comments below. But most importantly, thanks for watching. Take care, everyone, and I'll see you all again soon. And I should be back next week where I'll start filling up some of these beautiful pages.